sounds like you're running out of energy, and it feels like Chelsea might be doing the same. So let's start there. Chelsea lost 1-0 at home to Newcastle. Before the match even started, we looked at the lineups and we went, wow, Newcastle are rotating because they have a big match in Spain against Barcelona in the second leg. I cannot believe they are playing a midfield 2 of 2 8s. And they went out there and for their goal, literally dog walked an entire midfield with the right back and then just threw on goal to one of their 8s. Where do you want to start with this? Obviously, you did your 5 things and people should check that out. That's a much better and more in-depth take on it. But where do you want to start this conversation?
I mean, just from a fan's perspective, like you said, I'm out of energy. I didn't even have the energy to get super angry after this game because as soon as they scored that goal, like you said, comically easy goal, one pass to break us open. You see the manager after the game, we press in a different way to most teams. Well, that didn't work. And then the rest of the game, it was just a nasty low block. A nasty, nasty low block. Maresca couldn't break a low block down. Pochettino couldn't break a low block down. Maybe it's the personnel that has trouble breaking down a low block. Maybe that's the problem. But at no point did I think we would equalize. We didn't show a single sign or threat, any sense of urgency. I mean, sometimes if you have a half like that, and we got booed off as we should have, but even throughout the game, as soon as the goal went in, at no point did the crowd get behind us. It was just all around negatives. There was nothing positive to take. And, you might have thought, okay, there's nothing to lose. You're done with the Champions League. Focus in on the Prem and try to get some momentum going again. And just absolutely nothing. What a horrible performance. And coming out after the game, all these quotes from Rosigne, I feel like I've been somewhat optimistic with him lately. I mean, what the fuck is he talking about, dude? What is he talking about? I mean, saying we're third in the league since he's come in, no one cares, right? That table doesn't mean anything. And again, we talked about it. Is it all his fault? No, he walked into a shit show, but I just don't think it's a great look. I mean, the fucking huddle before the game with the referee, like, are we really getting mad about that? Why do you care about that? You should care a lot more about things that are going on during the 90 that can be addressed. I mean, I said it. I don't know why I was so optimistic going into the PSG game. I just thought they weren't that good. And however, I should have listened to myself. I think I said it after the Leeds game or the Burnley game, one of those shitter performances. With the personnel that we have, what should I expect? I don't think I should have expectations, and they continue to prove me right. So I have zero expectations anymore, which is incredibly disappointing given the signs we showed last season. It's just insane to me. Self-sabotage.
Yeah, the quotes after the game, and we've gotten on Arsenal for being performative. That was some loser shit. Like the whole gathering around the center circle is pretty fucking performative. And everything about that is performative. And we've been we literally have trashed Arsenal. And so I'm gonna keep it consistent here. Like everything he said in the post game, I was like, you're being a loser. Complaining about a foul that I don't think any of us really thought was much of a foul. Like it's that type of stuff where if you're in a race and you just got fucking punched in the mouth at the midweek to a very good team that you've already proven you can beat, it just seems like you don't have anything to go off of from the actual performance itself. You don't feel you should have won, so you're looking for a release valve to get angry at someone or something. That the ref didn't call like an awful game. It went both ways, right? And it's not like awful. Newcastle not like Newcastle did anything to make you feel like, oh, this is some crazy performance. Like it was boring, and that's what Newcastle have done. They literally did it to United last week. They just keep themselves in matches. They did it against Barcelona. It's just I would be frustrated as a fan just because it feels like there's every excuse in the book other than we're just playing like crap. We're hurting ourselves. That's what we've done all season. But it's always been, this goes back to the board point, like it's always pointing at someone different to blame. So why wouldn't the manager, who is clearly inexperienced in this whole thing, be not blaming someone else?
I think it's tough because, like Grant's saying, maybe the personnel's just not good enough. And when you're the manager and a young manager at that, you're not just going to start calling out all your players, especially young players, because this project's going to go nowhere if that's the case.
Yeah, but is it even? I don't even necessarily think he needs to be calling out a singular person, because I don't think that does anything. But I think that he can just acknowledge, like, we weren't good on the day. I need to be better. If that's the direction, right? But he's so
We've heard that
inexperienced.
already too. I feel like it's just like he's running out of things to say, and
Then
he's
don't
just
say anything. Maybe
waffling.
that's my point.
Exactly, but
Yeah, just
like
don't say
Yeah.
anything.
they can't win. I kind of feel for just all the managers at this point because they say nothing. There's headlines about it. They say something. There's headlines about it. He should just shut up. I do think that point is correct, but I'm not too hung up on the post game media. It's more so what I'm seeing on the pitch that's concerning.
Yeah.
Off ball was terrible. We were talking about it mid game. Outside of Garnacho, Cucurella, and maybe Reece James. Everyone else was terrible off ball. And just their movements opening up for passes. And then on top of that, there's just no one to take accountability, take a shot, maybe take the responsibility of just missing one at that. Like, hit what 70% possession, 67% possession,
For nothing.
and hardly any like actual shots.
Tried to
You
walk
guys
the
took
ball when it
22
felt like.
shots, but 3 of those were on target. So yeah, I guess they just maybe got discouraged after getting blocked a couple times, but that cannot be the case, especially when you're trailing a game.
Sure.
You can't just put it on someone else's shoulders to take that shot when it's not going in. And I think also that movement comes to account too. You can't just stand there and wait for plays to develop. You have to make the play develop. So outside of Garnacho and Cucurella underlapping each other, I really didn't think there was any outlet other than Reece James beating one or two guys and then trying to get something off. But I think it got blocked like the 2 times he tried it. The energy is the running out of energy is a great title for this because it seems like on both ends, the manager and the team, they're running out of energy. So this is why I brought it up originally, is that Rosinier, he's a new manager, but he's already running out of this energy in these press conferences. He doesn't know how to deal with them anymore. It hasn't been that long.
Yeah. It's the first time results have gone down. We always talk about it, right? Results always paper over everything. But even when we were on a good run, I said it was like something feels off. Unfortunately, we might have been right on that. And again, to your point, I think everyone can get blame. It's not like every single game it's someone else's fault. But I think multiple coaches of vastly different profiles have not agreed with our board and left as a result of it, right? Pochettino, Maresca, Tuchel, like 3 very different managers, all thought that the same group of guys were idiots. So I lean that way in terms of who we should be blaming, because for as annoying as some of these things that are being said in the press conference, again, you bring in an inexperienced guy mid-season to a club way bigger than anything he's done so far in his career. And it's the same personnel that we've been saying isn't good enough, right? Like, you look for a spark when you have a bad 45, right? Like, City haven't been starting Cherky lately. He comes on, he gives you something. There's guys like Foden who've shown you in the past what they're capable of, right? We brought on Liam Delap. And I've run out of patience for Liam Delap, unfortunately. It's nowhere near good enough. The shots are wild, snatching at everything, just literally adding nothing when he comes on. And that's really disappointing. Right, there weren't even that high of expectations for him. Good market value, young striker, English. I did not think it could be this bad. It's insane, man. It is insane. And the defense, don't get me started. Like you said, Dylan, watch the video. I already talked about that defense enough.
Yeah.
The lineup comes out and I'm like, damn, Chalobah Fofana. Mind you, the same lineup that just got dog walked at the Parc des Princes, that was absolutely exhausted and leggy. It's the exact same lineup less than 72 hours later. They looked very lackadaisical again. And who are the other defensive options, right? I wouldn't have been happy no matter what names are there. So again, we've handicapped ourselves going into the season, and these issues are coming back to bite us at the worst possible time.
Yeah, the one thing that I will add is a lot of the stuff that I've heard you say is very similar to what we were talking about earlier in the season with United, and not in terms of like the structure of the players, but more of just defensively, you're not good enough, and so your offense has to score 3+ goals a game, right? That's what it feels like. Like you're only going to win matches if you're scoring 3+ goals. And then on the flip side of that, every time your defense does put in a shift where maybe it's like this match where it's like 1-0, they're not putting away chances, that they're maybe creating some, the half chances aren't falling, and then you lose 1-0. And it's like you're not getting the rub of the green in either side of it. And to your point about running out of energy, you can tell that's starting to affect the players on the pitch. And for me, it's the person that it's affected the most this season, and it's been pretty obvious, is Cole Palmer. Like it feels like he just can't get anything going, whether that's been injuries or just a run of form where he can be consistently ticking and going and moving. Like he's played a couple of full 90s here.
It's been a year. It's been a
Yeah.
year since he's consistently performed, right? Since he's been that guy. So that's disappointing. Again, I definitely think he's earned grace, but it's been frustrating, right? He's been all right at times, but the level that he introduced us to was a very high level. And I think obviously there's a burden on him. I'm sure he puts it on himself, but I still think this is a direct consequence of sacking a manager in the middle of the season. I think it took Maresca time, but he was able to understand the weaknesses in this squad and understand how to cover them up, right? And maybe it was less exciting going forward, but he was able to compensate for our back line, especially this year without Colwell. You saw he completely abandoned what we were doing last year to compensate for the personnel. And Rossinier, unfortunately, is a bit naive on that front. We always talk about learning on the job. Man, you got to learn quicker because these boys are not up to it. He calls them all world class in the press conference. I understand it's part of the game, but not even close, brother. Yeah, these guys are not world class. They are replacement level. A lot of them are replacement level. And I think Maresca figured that out, asked for more, got binned off. So it's hard to see the cycle going any other way because what coach can work with the mid, right? And if he can, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve in this game? So I don't know what you can achieve with this current personnel. Maybe we can scam an FA Cup. We haven't played a top level side yet. So at least maybe we can scam some silverware. But yeah, I'm out of energy. I'm not even excited for games coming up. I mean, I hope we turn it up. But again, with the personnel that we're running out, I don't have much hope.
Yeah, the floor has decreased as the season has gone on, and we've learned over the stretch of the season that the ceiling is not there if Cole Palmer's not there, right? So I don't know. It feels eerily reminiscent of kind of some of the stuff we've talked about, like with Foden in the past. It just fast tracked almost. Like Foden had more of a body of work in the beginning half, right? And so that's what made the dip in form so stark. But it's injury related, and those players are so momentum based to me. And this Chelsea side, I think, is just following suit. Maybe we're really not placing as much value in what Cole Palmer does from a ceiling raising perspective on this young. Look,
I just think our defense is shit.
I think he's very good, but I don't think that the surrounding cast is that great. And I think it shows up in important games. I've been talking about this, especially with one player, but I won't go back into it. But 2 big games. One against Newcastle, where you're fighting for your top 5 race, and we saw what happened. And then again, the rematch with PSG after claiming world champions off of them, and 5-2. Like they can do the games with no pressure. This is classic young team though. When a young team gets put under pressure, they crumble. Whether they're good enough or not. It's these moments that make it tough, especially when the ship's not steady. And I don't see anyone being able to pull them out of it on the pitch.
A lot of passengers.
Yeah, I think Reece is trying his best. Like I'm seeing it,
is.
but again, we've talked about. I don't think he's enough, regardless of how much he tries. Yeah,
He also
Miss you
hasn't
every day,
been.
Levi.
I feel like he hasn't been faultless in this whole thing too. Like he's
No,
been
no,
in there
not at
too. So
all. PSG's
yeah,
fourth goal was unfortunately all him. He gets caught on
yeah.
the ball and
I,
then doesn't step. Kvara hits it, and then in this game too, right?
I not really
Whoever you
sure
want to
what
blame
the
in the middle,
positioning is there.
Garnacho is asking someone in the middle to pick up a runner. No one does. Your back line's not there. Yeah, no, no one is faultless in this team.
Yeah,
That's why I think the last thing I'll have on this is you're seeing people say, "Oh, well, Caicedo's going to want to leave. Palmer's going to want to leave." They're not absolved of any blame. They play
true.
a part in why we're in this situation as well. It's not like it was maybe last year with Caicedo or 2 years ago with Palmer where they've just been faultless, right? Everyone's got a part to play here. And, we can talk about all day who's at fault the most, but at the end of the day, it's not enough.